Everything great? Are you ready?
Let's see. We'll find out.
Yes. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be.
Well, it's about you, so only you need to shine.
I don't need to shine. This is just like a casual talk.
Yeah, I know. All right, cool. Yeah. All
You're
right.
not going to grill me about my business, are you?
So I've heard you have one client a month.
Well, the business has been kind of slow lately.
Are you faking all the reviews?
Yeah, definitely. Like it's all GPT generated.
You hired people to write reviews, right?
No, I just use AI. It's cheaper. Takes less time,
All right. Hey everyone, welcome to my brand new podcast. It's so new that I actually don't have a name for it. So if you have any suggestions, leave in the comments.
I love this.
So today I'm excited to be here with. Do you want to call yourself Lucie or Lucka?
Probably Lucy in English, but
Lucy?
usually Lucia is.
Lucie. Okay. Let's stick to Lucie. All right. So today I'm excited to be here with Lucie, the founder of Lucky AIP. Lucie is not just an amazing health coach, but she's also an old high school friend of mine. Thank you for joining us, Lucie.
Thank you very much for your invitation. I'm glad to be here.
Fun fact, we're actually both native Czech speakers, but we're going to be speaking English today.
Yes, so sorry for the accent.
All right, so to start off, could you please introduce yourself and share a bit about your personal and professional journey?
Thank you. Well, my name is Lucia, as you've heard, and I'm an AIP certified coach, which means that I'm specialized in people with autoimmune diseases. And I've got into that path when I got my rheumatoid arthritis, which is a very hard disease which you can get even when you're very young. I was 21 when I developed the disease, and I was looking for some solutions which were not, the classic medicine approach, because I was like really desperate because the medicine which they gave me didn't work. So I was looking for something different. I was looking for something which today I know is called holistic approach or functional medicine, if you may. And when I found it, I was like, okay, I will try it. It was just one blog article which I found on some American website. And it was about a lady who said she had rheumatoid arthritis and that she tried AIP and it helped her. I was like, okay, so if it helped her, why not me? So I tried it, and it was exactly 6 years ago, which is fun fact. Today is exactly 6 years after my start of AIP. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's like an anniversary.
Congrats.
It's like anniversary of my health journey. So my health journey began exactly 6 years ago, and I tried AIP. It's a very complete protocol with a lot of different parts which you need to tackle. It's about stress, it's about diet, it's about sleep, it's about movement, it's about a lot of things. So it was very intense for me. But after 2 months on this protocol, my problems started to diminish, and then after a few weeks, it was gone. And since then, so almost 6 years now, I'm free. I'm free from all the pain, from all the suffering, from all the symptoms of autoimmune disease. And I was like, hey, this is actually amazing. Like, why don't people do this? Why don't people go on autoimmune protocol? Why don't they try to do something on their own, not just listening to the doctors?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe I should start a project about it. So this is what led me here.
Yeah.
After the 6 years, it's a very, very interesting and intense ride, but I'm very happy to be here, and thank you again for inviting me.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, and I'm glad that you found a way how to improve your health. So, and we'll definitely talk about your business journey later. So, in your previous podcast, you encourage people to challenge mainstream norms, such as nasal strips. I actually use nasal strips, by the way, or red light glasses to improve sleep or pursuing their dream jobs. So, with all the information available online now, why do you think? What do you think holds people back from actually, proactively take these steps to actually live a healthier or purposeful life?
Well, it's definitely not a lack of information because today you can just ask GPT or you can Google something, you can watch a YouTube video about it. So it's not really about not having enough information. It's about fear. I think it's still the fear inside of us, the fear of leaving your own comfort zone and trying something different and then facing the consequences. Because when you start doing things differently, your surroundings, the people around you, your friends, your family, your partner,
Mm.
they will notice. They will notice sooner or later,
Yeah.
and then they will start to challenge you because they will be like, "Why do you do that? Like, do you really need a nasal strip for sleeping? Like what? Like, do you want to look like a
Yeah.
weird animal, or like what's your point?"
Yeah.
Or they are like, "What is it wrong? Like, what's wrong
Mm.
with your diet? Like, what
Yeah.
are you doing with your food? Like, you should eat everything. You should eat everything we have here." And they keep telling you these things, and you're like, yeah, like maybe I should, like maybe I shouldn't be doing these weird things I found on Instagram
Yeah.
from healthy lifestyle gurus,
Yeah.
but I think it's important to stick to your own journey. Don't care so much about what other people say, because what always is a guide for me is if the people look the way I would like to look, and they are in their life the way I would like to be. Like if they are healthy, if they are, wealthy, or like let's say at least like living in abundance, if they are satisfied in their life. Because I know, and you probably too, know a lot of people who are rich, they are successful in their careers, they are, I think, well settled in their families and in their
Hmm.
surroundings, but people, if you look inside them, they are not happy. They are not happy people. They are just like, broken. They just live a life which they probably don't even want to live. And then these are usually the people who are like have the, the midlife crisis, or like they divorce after having 3 kids or something. So I'm always asking myself, do I want to listen to this person because this person has some attribute which I would like to have
Yeah.
also in my life?
Yeah. 100% agree. Because I don't know. I don't remember the exact quote, but I heard somewhere that you should only take the advice from people who have what you want.
Exactly.
So if the people around you don't have the life you want, but judge you or challenge your actions, then just ignore them. I
Yeah.
reckon. But it's hard. It's hard. I think it's hard to, as you said, take the step to leave your comfort zone. Especially, I think peer pressure is tough. It's a tough part to do. Yeah.
Overcome, yeah, definitely, yeah, peer pressure, that's the point, yeah. I really think that what is interesting though is that after some time, when you rebel, when you do these things which other people don't understand and they are like judging you so hard for it, the other people start coming to you, like you start attracting people who are really into the same thing like you. So today it's 6 years after my start of this journey, and today I have very different circle of friends and people
Yeah.
around me, and those people are aligned with me on the journey. Like most of
Yeah.
my friends are people who also either have some condition, or they are biohackers, or they are also in this business of health and well-being.
Yeah.
So it really happens that it changes, but
Hmm.
you need to be patient, you need to give it time, and just do your thing and keep doing it and be consistent. Because if you will start and then someone will tell you, hey, you're weird, don't do it, and you
Yeah.
stop doing it, then you're further laugh. They will laugh at you because like you
Yeah.
stopped, so you cannot stop. But also like don't do things just because people tell you to do or to not to do. Just do things which you feel are the right for you. And this is what I think is the quintessential part of my journey, like starting to listening what I want in my life and what my body wants and what my mental health wants. Because
Yeah.
a lot of things which I was doing, for example modeling, were not really good for my mental health,
Hmm.
and I kept doing them anyway because there was some ego in it, some
Yeah.
prestige and these things. And now when I left these things, I really feel lighter and happier in my life. So always do what feels true to you, be connected to your diamond, to your highest self, and just follow it. And don't don't be afraid to just be yourself, even though other people will be like, he's weird, like he shouldn't be doing these things.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. This is the
Mm.
philosophy which I developed last year. It's called Healthy Rebel.
Mhm.
And I think that we need to be healthy rebels. It's not about one thing, it's about really a need to be a healthy
Yeah.
rebel. If you want to live a long, healthy life, you really need to be a healthy rebel. Healthy rebel is a person who doesn't really stick to society's pressures and lifestyle, mainstream
Mm.
style of life, but really is a person who is connected to his or her own nature and authenticity, and really listens to his or her own body and really does something for it and does things that feel good, really, like that feel good, like movement, like healthy diet, like biohacking, these things that really make you feel good, not in the hedonistic way like watching Netflix and
Mhm.
eating junk food, but really
Yeah.
in the way of your long-term health being, really like having a nice well-being in your life and really
Yeah.
sticking to it.
I like how you view the concept of your life, especially like in the holistic way. So
Thank you.
yeah, I like it. Um, let's move to the new topic, business. Actually, shall we?
Yeah, because it's intertwined in my life, so it makes
Yeah.
sense.
So you mentioned it's been since 6 years, right? Since you started this business journey. So for those who don't know, Lucie was actually the first certified AIP coach, right, in Czech Republic. Is that correct?
One of the first, like one
One of
of
the
the
first.
first two in Czech Republic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's such a huge achievement.
I think so. Yeah, it's good like to be first in these things because you're bringing new things. On the other hand, it's harder because it's not established. Like people don't know there's a thing like AIP. People don't know there's even a coach which you can use to,
Yeah.
really promote your
Mm.
health journey. So it's really, it has like some pros and some cons always
Yeah.
to be first in something.
Mm.
But first, I would actually say it was like a health journey, and after like probably 2 years, I was ready to start the project. So
Yeah.
the project is 4.5 years old.
Mm. So, what inspired you to actually transition from managing your own health to helping others?
Actually, the success, because I felt great. Honestly, after finishing my AIP, I mean the elimination diet, because AIP regarding the diet has 3 stages, and the first stage is elimination diet,
Mhm.
which is quite strict, but it's not that bad as people might think.
Yeah.
And then you go into reintroduction, and that means that you reintroduce back the
Hmm.
different things which you omitted in your diet, so
Yeah.
probably eggs
Hmm.
or nuts or seeds or other things. And then there's this, I would say, long-term success stage which I'm in right now, which
Hmm.
means that I don't eat like a normal person, but my diet is really healthy. It's very full of micronutrients and micronutrients, and it's like really really satisfying for me, even like
Yeah.
taste wise, but also like in the way of making my body satisfied and happy, and I can travel, I can eat different things in different states. I'm really like satisfied with my diet. But back to it. So after finishing the elimination diet, I
Hmm.
was like, hey, like this is such a success, like why don't more people do that? Like it would help them, because there's a lot of people suffering from autoimmune diseases. In the USA, it's more than 50 million people.
Hmm.
In Czech Republic, which has 10 million people in total, it's more than 1 million people. So every 10th person, probably a lot of people around us right now,
Yeah.
have autoimmune diseases, at least one. And every autoimmune disease really diminishes the quality of your life. There are more than 100 autoimmune diseases, so you can really like have different things like lupus or rheumatoid arthritis or colitis, or like really really different things, eczema and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But really every one of these diseases, even though they affect different organs or systems in your body, they make your life worse, which
Yeah.
means you're not living up to your fullest potential, which
Hmm.
means that you're not giving the world the best. And I want to live in a world when we thrive, when we are healthy and happy, and
Yeah.
we make better things for ourselves and also for the world. I'm a stoic, I'm a philosopher, and we practice this thing called summum bonum. Summum bonum means that you do something for other people and for the well-being of the world. So I'm like, okay, I want to thrive and be healthy. Let's make other people healthy. And this is how the idea came into my mind. First, it was idea like I will start a blog about it. But
Mm-hmm.
I was working in a corporate. I was really busy. I didn't have time for it, and because let's say this lifestyle is quite time consuming because you really need to like cook your own food, you need to sleep well, you need
Yeah.
to take care of your mental health every day, you need to take care of your body via some movement. So really it takes a lot of your time, but it's manageable. It's not like you cannot do it with kids or with work. You can do it. You just need
Yeah.
to find ways and you need to be effective. So I was like, I want a blog, but I don't have time to start it and to really commit to it. But this idea just kept nudging in my brain. I
Yeah.
couldn't get over it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm like doomed in this job. It like doesn't make sense. It's a corporate marketing job, and like I like marketing. I like to work, but I was like, let's make something which will really bring some value to people and help other people. I will start my own business. So it was a decision after quite some time, but I'm really happy I did it. It was hard at first, but here I am.
Yeah, I can imagine. Wow. Yeah, I think it's easier to start a business when you know the target audience and you know the value that you can provide. And you
Definitely.
definitely nailed that.
Definitely. Like I cannot imagine I would be working in a corporate. I would be like, hey, like this job sucks. I want to have a different, job. I want to have freer lifestyle. I want to
Yeah.
become solopreneur or entrepreneur. What would I do? If I put that question this way, I don't think I would be sitting here in this scenario, Like I think I would probably still working in that corporate, maybe on a different position, but like I would still be there. So for me, I think it's a really good thing when the business idea comes out of your own need. And I'm listening to a lot of CEOs and different
Mm-hmm.
people in podcasts because I really like self-development books or podcasts or events. And they usually say stuff like that, like do the one thing which you're passionate in. It doesn't matter if it's like, I don't know, making pencils, like you can make artisanal pencils and make a living out of it,
Yeah.
but really you got to be passionate about it. I was really passionate, which you can see.
Yeah.
I'm still passionate about it. So for me it is, until the day I'm not passionate about it, I will keep doing that.
Mm. Yeah. I'm glad that you mentioned this. And on top of it, you actually get to change people's lives.
Yeah, that's the amazing part about it. Like sometimes it's very hard and very complicated because one part of my job is being the health coach, which helps people on their health journey. That requires a lot of empathy, a lot of knowledge, a lot of different techniques and stuff
Mm.
like that. So I just keep studying and trying a lot of things on myself, different supplements, different
Yeah.
techniques. I just keep going forward and
Mm-hmm.
forward. And this is what I like about it. It's really motivating.
Yeah.
But the other part is the business part, like you gotta manage the numbers, cash flow, and stuff like that. And this is the more challenging part. And sometimes I'm like, why do I keep doing this thing? Like, wouldn't I be happier if I work somewhere, I don't know, as a cashier, in a shop, and just like I would have 8 hours of work every day, and then I would just close the door and be happy. But I wouldn't, because certain people can be happy that way, and I don't judge it. When I was younger, I used to judge that, and that was very, not grown up of me. But now I'm like, I get those people because they have peace of mind, which entrepreneur can never have, I think. But when you are the other type of people, which I'm definitely am, and you probably too, we are the people who just want to create. Like we would die in a dead end job in some corporate just doing 9 to 5 or something like that. We need to create something. We need to feel like we are growing. We need to feel like we are expanding. And when you feel that you're helping other people, because the other people come to you and they say, hey Martin, I've heard your podcast, it was really inspiring, thank you for that. Or they come to you and they say, hey, really thank you for going with me through AIP, it really
Yeah.
helped me, it changed my life, I can finally live my full life again. It just warms your heart. So this is the satisfying thing, and every time someone does that or
Mm.
writes a nice review, I'm like, oh, thank you, like that was really needed, really.
Yeah. Like the other day. So I actually started creating content maybe a month ago. like a
Amazing.
personal brand.
Congrats.
Thank you. And my personal brand is basically just me documenting my journey, my learnings, and to hopefully live a healthier and more intentional life.
Amazing.
And the other day, a friend of mine actually sent me a message like, "Hey, thank you for your video. It really like helped me go through the day." And I was like, "Wow, like I did not expect this from like
Yeah.
such messages." So I think these messages really helped me to continue what I do. I mean, I'm still at the beginning of the journey, so let's see how it goes. And it's also as a hobby, so I'm not doing it full time. This is my hobby, so
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, and I have similar experience with your content because you've posted a reel. It was about going to gym, and there was something like
Oh yeah,
the
you
message.
mentioned that.
Yeah, the message was something like never let your emotions decide what you do. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh, like this is exactly what I'm learning in my life right now. And also this is a thing which I'm struggling with a lot when it comes to strength training
Hmm.
because I'm that person like I'm busy, like let's not do it. Like I'll have
Yeah.
training tomorrow, but tomorrow is said, oh, today is not the day. It will be tomorrow again. And and then just you're like, hey, like I haven't exercised for 4 days, which is not good. So this is also like one different aspect of my life. Like being health coach means that you really have to live a healthy life, which I
Yeah.
like about it because it motivates me also to keep going forward. One
Yeah.
part of me, the intrinsic want is there,
Yeah.
but also there's the pressure like I gotta be
Yeah.
healthy. I
You have to
gotta
lead
be
by
in the
example. Yeah.
exactly. This is my life, like always. So for me, for example, the weaker side of my lifestyle is the the movement and the
Hmm.
sport and training and these things because I'm like, I'm busy, let's do it tomorrow. But
Yeah.
this content really helped me be like, no, today is the day. And I really stick to it and it really helped me. So thank you, Martin, you're
Yeah.
amazing.
Thank you.
I
Thank
can see
you.
really like bright future for you in this.
Okay. Thank you very much for the kind words. All right. So I think we got distracted a bit.
I wouldn't say
But
distracted, it was just a little
side.
caveat.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying this conversation, so I don't mind.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah. So we're talking about like your journey, how you started Lucky AIP, right?
Yeah, the business.
And previously we were talking about like how important it is to be surrounded by the right people, and sometimes it's hard to start something or like change your life because the pressure that you get from the judgment of the other people, right? So how did your family, friends, and the public respond to your venture?
I think that they were surprised probably
Hmm.
because I don't think that they've seen that coming for me.
Yeah.
you know, they've seen me trying to build my career in the corporate and
Hmm.
like really being into it. And then after my health took this turn, they were like really worried about me because before I got into AIP, I was really, really having hard time with my health for example, I think 2 years. I think it was about 2 years.
Hmm.
So it was like really not easy life for me.
Yeah.
And then I started AIP and everything was getting better and better, even though the journey was really hard and really intense. And then after some time, I was like, hey, like I will probably do something about that. And they would be like, what do you do about it? Like just write a blog or start Instagram or something.
Yeah.
So like they were like, yeah, like just write about it on Insta and keep doing your thing. And I was like, after some time, no, like I'm gonna start my own business. And they were like, how do you want to make money? Like, and what will you be? Like, what will become out of
Mm.
you? Like they were having these questions like full of doubt and
Yeah.
like not being sure. But at that time, I wasn't sure either because like I was just figuring it out. I
Yeah.
think that business it's actually about always figuring out new things because as you're
Yeah.
growing and you're expanding, you always got to figure out new things. So
Yeah.
you got to have this learning growth mindset, really thinking outside of the box. And I have these
Yeah.
skills or these aspects. So I was like, okay, you know what? I don't know. I don't have the answer for you, but I will show you. Or like ask me after 1 year. I don't know.
Yeah.
So like I was just like, really focused. And this is also really important in business. Just you gotta have your goal and don't get distracted by other people who are telling you Martin, I don't think you should be doing this thing. Like, really, Martin, don't start a podcast. Like, there are so many podcasts, like, just buddy, like, don't lose your time on this. Like,
Yeah.
no, you cannot listen to those people. So I'm like, okay, thank you for your concern, but just watch me. And then I think that as they saw, it was like really starting, even though in the beginning it was slow because, of course, like you don't open your practice and have clients like right away.
Yeah.
So really,
Isn't it like that? No? You didn't get
not-
fully booked out?
yeah, like first day you put online your website, second day you're booked.
Yeah, you just put 50K in marketing, you know. You just run Facebook ads and that's it. No?
No, I think especially in this business, it like really takes time. So I was like, I'm patient. You got to be patient too.
Yeah.
And they were like watching me, and they were like, okay, like we are glad that it's working out for you. So
Yeah.
after some time, they really started to give me the trust. But first, you always got to trust yourself. Like if I didn't trust myself and I just
Yeah.
was like really distracted by those comments, I probably wouldn't even start. I would be like, well, you're probably right. I'm going to find another corporate job.
Yeah.
Maybe this time it will be better. Maybe this time it will satisfy me actually, which won't. It wouldn't happen.
Yeah. So was there anyone or what kept you going actually? Was there someone who supported your journey from day one?
Yeah, I've had a business mentor who really helped me with starting the whole project. He was there right from even before the beginning because he was there. It's a long time friend of mine who really saw me struggling through those years when I couldn't walk or I couldn't do any sports
Yeah.
or I couldn't attend school. I needed to stop my studies for 1 year, and really like he saw me going through these changes.
Yeah.
And then when he saw me starting to thrive again and coming with this idea of Lucky AIP, he was like, what is like bringing you back? Like, what's holding you back? And I was like, I don't know how I would do it. Like, I really remember myself sitting with him on a dinner after one shamanic ritual, which we attended to together. And like, we were talking. I was like, if I could help at least just one person, I would be so happy. And he was like, okay, so let's figure out a way. And like that evening, we've
Yeah.
created it, and if there hadn't been him, Lucky AIP wouldn't exist. So I'm really
Okay.
glad for that person. And then on my journey, I kept also him, but like also found other mentors, other amazing people who supported me.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm in a business accelerator, which it doesn't just give me like a lot of other mentors, but it
Yeah.
also gives me amazing, resources and amazing contacts, networking opportunities, a lot of knowledge, a lot of different, experiences. Like I'm really glad for that opportunity. So this is also a good tip. Like if you're having a small business and you want to scale it, just find an accelerator program which you can
Yeah.
apply into and just do it. Like really, it doesn't matter that you think you're too small or like not interesting. Do it. Let them judge you, but like do it.
Yeah.
So that, and if you're in the beginning, I would go into the incubator. I don't know if that's also a thing in English speaking, but probably yes. And just go into that, like really like start searching the people who are better than you in business and really learn from their experiences because they can like really help
Yeah.
you grow. So this really kept me going, and also the responses from the people it helped because
Yeah.
I started having my first client basically right away. And
So you were fully booked out.
yeah, one client was a full day of work. And then like like the responses and the way I like it also makes me feel, like when I'm coaching people, it makes me feel like I'm in the flow, like I'm doing the thing which I was born to do in my life. It makes me feel like I'm, as my mentor Brian Johnson says, you're a light bulb which is really like tightly screwed in, so you really shine your light. And that's the point, when you're just some boring ass work in the corporate world and you just like feel like you're a light bulb which is probably broken or something. That's not the life you should live. You should really live life which makes you feel full and satisfied, even though of course for that you probably will have to do things which you don't like, which is for example for me, or the bureaucracy and legal stuff and boring papers and numbers.
Okay. Wow. Well, so to all the people who have supported and are supporting Lucia's journey. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, because it's been a ride for those 6 years, but I'm really glad that I'm on it.
Hmm. Okay. Mm. So you've been running your business since 2020, right?
Yes, it was nice starting your business in COVID. Because I was starting right in COVID,
Yeah.
right in COVID. When it started,
Challenge accepted.
no one knew what was gonna happen, but I was like, hey, this is not gonna stop me. I've
Yeah.
made my decision. I have this amazing mentor who supports me. I'm gonna do
Mm.
it anyway. So really COVID wasn't stopping me.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So what have been some of the biggest challenges or learnings in the past years for you?
There's been definitely a lot of them. I would probably differentiate between the time I was solopreneur
Hmm.
and the time which I've become entrepreneur with other people in
Hmm.
my team. When I was solopreneur, it's a lot about discipline. It's a lot about trusting yourself. In the beginning, it's really hard because you don't actually have any experience. You just like have your own, passion and your
Hmm.
own example for other people, your own experience, but
Yeah.
you don't really have experience with leading people. You don't have experience with you know doing all this stuff like accounting and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So you're like really trying to figure it out, and sometimes you're like, why didn't I just stay in the corporate? Like, that was better, but it's
Yeah.
not. But really, like, sometimes this keeps nudging your brain sometimes. And then I think it was a lot about not being afraid to step up and become a public person in Czech
Hmm.
Republic and talk about these things openly in media and in podcasts,
Yeah.
because this is my first English podcast actually. All the other ones, yes, it's my first. all
Next
of
one,
them,
Vietnamese.
all of them are in Czech, and also like I've been in TV, I've been
Yeah.
in radio, I've been in print. I've been in different media, and it's just about really not being afraid of haters and trolls
Hmm.
and critique and backlash, because this will come. Like, the
Yeah.
more you are, like, how do you say, like, popular or like well known, the more people see you or hear you, the more critics, the more haters you will get. So
Have you experienced that?
yes, like, it's not that bad. Like, I handle it pretty well,
Yeah.
but yeah, I've experienced
Like,
it in
what kind of things do they mention about you?
I don't know. Sometimes they hate my appearance because I'm tattooed and I'm like very very distinct person. Like, you see me and it's me.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
sometimes they are like poking at this. Sometimes they are saying that I'm a charlatan. Sometimes they think that I don't know, that I'm just some person trying to get attention, but getting attention is not really the reason I'm doing these things.
Yeah.
It's about really sharing my story, inspiring other people, showing them, hey, there is also another world than just classic medicine. Just, you gotta try it, just combine it and get the best of both worlds, like Hannah Montana, but in health journey.
Hmm.
So really, it's not about me about becoming famous or
Yeah.
being on some covers of magazines, even though I've been there, but
Yeah.
it's not about it. It's a nice perk. It's nice to see yourself here and you're just like, wow, is this real? Like, you cannot really
Yeah.
fathom it in your
Mhm.
brain. But like, I don't think those people really get me, so I don't respond to them.
Yeah.
I don't think about them. I'm just like, okay. Just let them be.
Yeah.
I wish them the best. I wish they found the peace in themselves, and also a thing which makes them as satisfied as I am, just as I found.
Yeah. It sucks that even though you're trying to help people, right, there will be still people that are not supporting you or like against you.
Yes, but I think it's also not so bad, because I'm also a marketer, and every comment counts. Actually, like,
Bad
even
engagement is also engagement.
exactly, like, if it's from a hater, let it be. It's from
Do you
a hater.
respond? Do you respond to these comments?
I don't.
Hmm.
I don't waste my time on this. Probably if it was like too much, I would like stop it, or like sometimes I intervene mildly, but usually no. Like I don't found it as a good use of my time,
Yeah.
because you found the more I would say aware and conscious in your life
Hmm.
are, the more you think about how you use your time, and you know that you gotta use your time wisely,
Yeah.
especially if you want to take supreme care of your body, have amazing relationships with yourself, with your partner, with
Yeah.
your friends, family. When you want to build something and really give value to other people, you got to choose your time. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I've seen that. Okay. Like, and
Move
I,
on.
I go on.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Um. So you mentioned that that was your, like you talk about
Yeah. The
the
solopreneur.
solopreneur part. So
Yeah.
when
And
did you
now
begin?
the,
When did you begin hiring for Lucky AIP, and what prompted you to actually expand the team?
yeah, that was the big change in my career, which happened more or less a year ago.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a year now since I've opened my
Okay.
own, I would say, small clinic.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really glad I've done that. But it's been a very, very interesting ride since then,
Tell me
like a
more.
roller coaster ride. But what really prompted it was really that I felt that I wanted to help people even more, but I've also came to understand that I couldn't do it alone, because you cannot be expert on everything,
Yeah.
like some people on social media may look like that, but you cannot be expert on everything. Like you gotta stick your part, and it's gonna be quite niche,
Yeah.
I think, and then you gotta really go deep in it. So I was like, okay, but I need also someone who will help my clients with diet, but who really understands AIP as well. Because if you send your client to, for example, some nutritionist, they will help them, but they don't really understand the diet, for example. So it will
Yeah.
not
It's
be
not
such a,
tailored.
yeah. So it really has to be aligned. And I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna build it, because I was one of the first people who brought AIP into Czech Republic. So there weren't really people who were like specialized in this. I
Hmm.
was like, okay, I'm gonna build this. So it was the idea which was in my brain for quite a long time, and then came this amazing opportunity, because I'm really passionate networker. I really like to make new connections,
Hmm.
and also like the pool of Czech influencers and people who are in this industry is not that big. So I think we know each other. We
Do
get
you
to know
consider
each.
yourself as an influencer?
Yeah, but just like a micro one. Like I'm small.
Okay.
I'm small. I have some viral content, but I'm small.
Yeah.
But we know each other. So one of those people reached, and she said like, "Hey, I'm having this space which is free for rent. It would be amazing for a center. Like, would you like to rent it for yourself?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're reading my mind. I want it." So this is how I started it. I've rented it. I've made some small changes there, and I've started building the team together.
Hmm.
At that time I was already searching, like headhunting, let's say,
Okay.
for quite some time, but it's a very long process, because I wasn't pushing it. I was like, hey,
Yeah.
until the end of year I need 5 people. I wasn't like that. I was like,
Hmm.
okay, it would be great to find a doctor who
Yeah.
would work with me and elevate my work on another level. So I found that. I've opened the center,
Yeah.
and then start hiring other
Okay.
people, and somehow it came together, and I'm really glad, even though it's been a ride, because having your own person and your own people in your team, and also your own place to manage, is just a different level of work. Like
I
being
can imagine.
solopreneur, like really was the golden times, like when I had so much free time, and like so much, I would say, freedom also in the choices of what I do, and choices of what I will, for example, invest my money in.
Mhm.
And now it's like more tied in. You got to be much more strategic. You got to develop systems. You got to develop hierarchy. Like there's a lot of things which you got to learn
Yeah.
every step of the way. So I've been on that
Okay.
path for 1 year now, and I'm really happy, because it's making me better entrepreneur. But sometimes it's really tough. Like I've definitely had lots of moments when I just was having like lots of tears, or even full meltdowns, and just being like, oh my gosh, this is a hell. Like yeah, sometimes you don't have
Okay.
such high moments. Like
Yeah.
the moment right now when you just sit and talk about it, and it all seems so nice. This is like 0.1% of your work. So this is the nice part. But like people, you should see me after 12 hours in my office on Friday night, just like going through papers. You should see me then.
Nice. So how big is your team now?
It's about 7 people, I guess. It depends, like if we count the back office team with the
Yeah,
team of the
everything.
practitioner. Okay, so it's about 10 people.
10 people?
Yeah. So it's, you would say big, but like it's not that big
Mhm.
because we have a lot of like free time. Like they have lots of free time, lots of freedom. I'm not such a person who would be like, hey, today you will do this and then you will do this and then
Yeah, you don't
I'm not
micromanage.
micromanage.
Yeah.
I actually give maybe too much freedom to
Too
them.
much. Yeah.
But that's a way I'm also figuring out on the
Yeah.
way. Another thing which I'm trying to figure out is what is the right relationship to have with the people in your team when you're the leader, because I tend to build very friendly relationships which can backfire when you want to solve some problems or some more of
Yeah.
challenging situations. So this is the one thing which I'm still trying to figure out, and I don't have a good answer for that right
Yeah.
now. I was probably too
I'll
much
check
on the
in a year.
spectrum.
Do you have an
Yeah,
answer?
yeah. I'm probably too much on the spectrum of the friendship. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out the healthy way between hostile and too friendly environment.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out the right way how to be the leader, how to manage people, how to be able to give them, constructive feedback, but
Yeah.
at the same time having a nice open atmosphere in your team, because this is at the core of my business, really having this connection and, you know, being on the same boat, like really doing the stuff together.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of expanding the team, right? How has your role and responsibilities evolved since then, and what does a typical day or week look like for you now?
They definitely evolved a lot because, as I said, when I was solopreneur, it was much easier in many things. The one perk which I see though is that now you have more people, so you can, for example, delegate some stuff. Now I have assistants, so lots of things which I would, solve by myself before, I just give to her and say, "Hey, please do it,"
Mhm.
and that's great. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that part of just like getting rid of some of your responsibilities.
Yeah.
But I would say definitely more responsibilities came because you gotta manage the the facility, you gotta manage the people, you gotta manage the funds. I've started my own company, so now you also have some more legal things which you gotta do.
Yeah.
Accounting is much harder.
Mhm.
It takes much more time. So actually what happened is that my time for being the coach shrunk, and
Mhm.
now I'm also more in the leadership slash CEO mode when
Yeah.
I'm like really tackle these things which no one else can do, or like some people from the back office are helping me, but actually it's like my responsibility to really have
Right.
everything clear because I'm the owner, I'm responsible for this, I've signed the paper, so really like it's
Okay.
about really having much more responsibility, and that's very humbling experience, I would
Hmm.
say, because I used to be, I would say, kind of frivolous and emotionally driven before, and now I really got to be more strategic, more down to earth, more really rational in the decisions I make, because now it's not about me,
Yeah.
it's about other people. If you make wrong decision, you can, for example, go into bankruptcy and then you won't pay the people. How would you feel if you don't pay the people?
Yeah.
Like really now I feel the pressure is much higher.
Right. So how much time do you dedicate to coaching now?
It's usually about few hours, 3 days a week,
3 days a week? Yeah.
and the rest is just the business stuff,
Yeah.
back office, really this
Mm.
leadership
Okay.
kind of things. And I'm also very, keen on expanding, doing
Mhm.
new things, starting new
Yeah.
projects. For
We'll talk
example,
about that. Don't worry.
today I started
Yeah.
my new podcast, but it's sadly it's in Czech. So if you're not from Czech, you probably won't understand it. But I really dedicate a lot of time, I would say, each week to really also figuring out what's next, like creating new products or
Yeah.
like new business cooperations, going for meetings with other people from my
Yeah.
business industry, like these different things. And
Mm.
also marketing,
Yeah.
because since I'm a marketer, I basically do the marketing for my company. Like I have some people to help me with it, but I'm the one who really runs it. So
Hmm.
it's quite a lot. Yeah, I have a full plate.
Nice, nice. So besides coaching, what else do you enjoy in your work?
I enjoy the content creation part,
Hmm.
definitely. Like, if I didn't have all those other responsibilities, I would probably be creating much more content,
Okay.
just like reels and
Mm.
videos. I really like that. I enjoy that. I really like interacting with my community because
Hmm.
my community is growing constantly since 2020.
Nice.
It's a few thousand people, so it's
Yeah.
really,
You're gonna teach me how to do that.
I can share some tips definitely. Yeah. So I really also like to engage with my community, but sadly I don't have much time for
Mm.
this because I'm constantly doing something,
Yeah.
and I also got to figure out a way how to incorporate my family into my daily schedule, my stepson, my partner, myself, self care,
Yeah.
and some basic needs like cooking and eating and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So really, it's always a challenge what I will prioritize in my day. That's a constant question which I solve every day.
Yeah.
Of course, you develop systems. Those systems help you. So I have
Mm.
some things which are basically automated for me because
Yeah.
for example, in my evening routine or in my morning routine, I just go step by step. But you got to figure out a lot. But I would definitely be much more of a content creator and probably much more of an influencer.
Yeah. Okay.
And then what I really enjoy is really creating new products like new online courses. I'm starting my own academy right now,
Hmm.
which is like a basically thing I haven't set out publicly yet. So this is a new thing.
Oh, so this is you're not talking about business. You're talking about different.
No, it's about like
You have a
part of my business, like a
oh, because
project in my
you have a
business.
project called business.
Yeah, but that's
Oh,
another
this
one.
is
Yeah,
another
this
business.
is another
Okay, this is
business.
not a project. Another project. Okay.
Yeah, this is another project business.
Okay.
So I'm really like trying to find ways how to basically now when AI is on the rise to use it more so I could
Yeah.
save time and spend more time doing the things I love because this is what really makes me full. Coaching, creating new things,
Yeah.
engaging with the community. I really love that.
Okay. Wow. Nice. What is your least favorite part of your work? Don't say accounting.
I wanted to say that, like, definitely, man, definitely. But probably accounting is boring, but like, probably the least favorite is really like
What's the one thing that you would love to delegate?
really like tackling the problems which are not even fun to solve because some problems are fun to solve,
Hmm.
like when I'm, for example, hey, I'm really feeling that my community, my clients have this need. I could probably like fill this hole with some new product. How could I do that?
Hmm.
Will it be, I don't know, ebook, online course, event?
Yeah.
This is the nice problem to have, okay?
Okay.
Like you're gonna love this.
What about the bad problems?
Yeah, but when you have the problems like, hey, like we need to something, for example, with the cash flow, or we need to, I don't know, create this really boring solution to problem in the reservation system, or like things which don't even make sense, like things which you didn't even know they could go wrong.
Mm.
You're like, oh my gosh, am I doing this again, really? And trust me, there will be a lot more of those that you would like imagine even in the worst nightmare, like really, like you constantly find these problems. You're like, okay, here we go again. But I think it's part of the journey. It really
Yeah.
develops the humble part of you, the part which really is grateful when can do what likes, and the part which is like really down to earth and goal oriented when you gotta tackle those things which are like, oh my god, I didn't think we could have this problem. So this is the least favorite part because this is really like dragging out a lot of energy out of me, the energy which I would love to spend on something more meaningful.
Yeah. I appreciate your transparency. Okay.
But hey, Martin, like you maybe sound like I'm pretty big, but I'm not that big. Like I just have like few people in my team and a
Oh, okay.
project for a few years. Like
Yeah.
don't think I'm big business person. I'm not.
Yeah. For the context, I only interview people like like small businessmen. Okay. So I want to ask you this question. What's
Okay.
your view on building personal brand and a business brand? And how do you actually build both at the same time, or like how do both contribute to the success?
For me, it's really intertwined because my business brand and my project is built on my success story. And I, I really like going to media. I really like doing videos, creating content. So
Hmm.
I use it as my advantage because
Yeah,
not everyone is like that. I know a lot of people who are really talented businessmen, but they don't really get to enjoy this public speaking
yeah,
experiences. So I use that often, but after some time, I needed to, you know, change my strategy a little bit because it's not about just like, going to podcasts or like doing interviews and whatever. It's also about like really doing marketing for the brand. So at first,
yeah.
I really starting to build my brand marketing on my own personal brand, management.
Hmm.
But then I was like, okay, I gotta differentiate those two. First, because like when you're building business, the people also need to see more about the business.
Yeah,
And then, of course, on the other part, I'm also developing constantly forward. And since I started AIP 6 years ago, my, interests have grown out so wide that I couldn't just like stick to AIP.
yeah,
So now I also building my personal brand a little bit more aside, and it's like more focused also on longevity and health span, biohacking,
yeah,
on the philosophy of healthy rebel, which I founded last year, and like really you know making me like more complete in a different way. And it's a challenge also, which I found, because one thing that happens when you build your business brand on yourself is that when you are not feeling so good in your life, for example, when you have a tough time in your life, like I had miscarriage last year, which really was a very painful, very hard breaking point in my life, and that really negatively impacted not just like my own well-being and my personal everything, but also my business, because my business is really still built a lot on me and on me promoting it and creating a lot of things and leading the team. And now I'm on a way like, hey, this can't happen again, let's learn from this and let's figure out a way how to make these things more stable, even if, for example, something happens to you, which I hope will not. But you got to be prepared for this. So I got those people who are entrepreneurs and they don't really represent their brand by themselves. They just like represent the brand by the marketing of its own. I think that's very understandable because I think it's a more secure way. When
yeah,
you're like me, the person who goes into conferences and media, it's great, but also it brings like some of the hate, which
yeah,
is okay. But then also there's the part of it like, hey, if like, I'm sorry, I'm spitting out. If like something happens to you, is your brand gonna last even when you're not there? Which is probably no. If you don't have like the systems, you don't have the automatizations, you don't have other people which need it for you, no.
yeah.
So this is a big lesson for me from last year.
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm sorry to hear what happened.
Oh, thank you. It's okay now. It wasn't okay for a lot of time, but it made me a stronger person, and I think this is ultimately what always makes us better people. Ernest Hemingway wrote it in one of his books. Life breaks a lot of people, but in those broken places we become strong. It's not
Mm.
exact quote. He wrote it some
Yeah.
differently, but like that's the point. This is the
Mm.
gist of it, and I think that's true. Like what breaks you, if you like really try to grow out of it, you will grow stronger.
Yeah.
And ultimately I think it makes me not just a better person but also a better businessman, because I've experienced such a huge loss and a huge tremendous pain that now the things which would probably shake me off 1 year ago don't do this to me, because I'm like, like this doesn't even like make me sad. Like I'm moving forward because I've survived through this. So I would
Yeah.
encourage everyone, like if you're really experiencing something very difficult, very painful in your life, just milk it, like take it like it's a lemon and you're gonna make a lemonade out of it and really go and really make it, because you can always do it no matter what it happens. Like I've had a lot of very hard low points in my life like the rheumatoid arthritis period, or losing the baby, or having anorexia, or different things in my life, and all of them shaped me into the person I am today. And I'm really thankful because through all of that pain, I feel I'm becoming stronger, more balanced person. So I'm grateful for what life brings, even though sometimes it sucks.
Mm. I think it's hard to talk about the downtimes. I think not everyone is willing to talk about them, and then that's why like many people think that, oh, my life is amazing. No, it's just I don't talk about the sad times.
Yeah. I think that being vulnerable publicly comes with a cost. The cost is
Yeah.
actually the haters and the fact that other people might judge you for it. But this is actually part of my personal brand,
Yeah.
that I talk openly about the things like not abortion, about like losing a baby,
Mm.
or about my problems with depression,
Yeah.
which I've struggled with before, or my problems with borderline personality disorder, which I have, like those different aspects of your life which usually everyone hides on social media. You
Yeah.
just present the highlight reel of your life. You just present the best. I was here, look at me, I'm having a new
Yeah.
handbag, this is me with my husband to be. They just like really show the best parts of their life. But people, be real, be vulnerable, show yourself,
Yeah.
show yourself when you're
I think
crying.
there's a new shift actually on social
Yeah,
media that where people actually are more vulnerable, and that's
yeah,
why it actually builds the community because people can relate,
yeah,
because
yeah.
people can share similar experiences.
Yeah, this is such a big part of my community and of my brand, really just sharing also the vulnerable parts of your life, and having people really attracted to you because they can relate. Because
Yeah.
usually when you come through such hard things like losing a baby or anything like that, or having, for example, autoimmune condition,
Yeah.
and no one around you has autoimmune condition, so no one understands you because it's very specific. Really brings challenges which other people cannot relate to.
Yeah.
You feel alone, and when you feel isolated, gosh, that makes it just much harder. Like, really, one of the best things which you can do, I think, is find people who have the same experience as you do, who are either like walking through it right now, or like going through it right now, or just like really they've been through it, and just talk to them. That was also one thing which really helped me about uh, about the losing of the baby, like really talking to other women and finding out that a lot of women went through it. They just don't talk about it because it's a taboo. We don't
Mm.
talk publicly about
Yeah.
losing babies. And then you find out when you start reading that fourth approximately every fourth pregnancy ends like this in
Oh, really?
miscarriage. Yeah, so like you're like, oh my gosh, why don't we talk about it? And then
Mm.
I was like, okay, when I will be ready, I will start talking about it.
Yeah.
And I started, and the response has been amazing. Like, it's been also healing for me to hear back from my community all of their
Yeah.
stories, all of their words of support, and all of their experiences.
Mm.
I think that this is actually nice also about my work, that I'm also having a little bit of healing from what I do,
Yeah.
because the people respond to me in the way
Yeah.
I actually interact with them.
Mm.
It's a lot to process, I know.
Yeah. No, no. I'm thinking like maybe one day I'll be able to talk about my struggles, but yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see.
I'll be
Let's
there.
see.
I'll be the one asking you the
Thank you.
questions, and I'll be really glad, because really, like, people, be real, really.
Are you promoting the app?
No, but really, just like,
Yeah.
really be yourself, be authentic.
Mm.
Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. I think it's beautiful to be vulnerable, and don't be afraid of being judged. People will judge you anyway. Like, people will judge you even for what you wear, and that's not vulnerability. So just
Yeah.
like, why shouldn't you be vulnerable? Of course, it can backclap. People can, use it against you, but those people probably shouldn't be part of your life if they do it. So
Yeah. Yeah. Let's move back to the business
yeah,
a
we keep
bit.
running away.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm just cautious of the time.
Yeah.
I want to actually talk about your future plans. I know that you've touched on it a bit previously, but what are your future plans for Lucky AIP, and how do you envision expanding its reach and services in the coming years?
That's a great
If you can
question.
talk about it, of course.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about a lot of them because they are still somewhere in distant future, and I don't want to, attract negative energy to it. But what I can say is that I'm starting my own podcast.
Nice.
So that's a great thing. I've started with a colleague of mine, Tomáš Patrucci. His nickname is Limit Hacker, and I think it's a great nickname because it really shows the essence of who he is, and he was also a big part of my journey for the last years. Really tremendous person to have in my life. And so that's one thing, my own podcast.
Yep.
Then the second thing is my own academy in Lucky AIP, which will be basically learning or like platform for studying different things about your health.
Okay.
It will be not directly just like oriented for autoimmune people and autoimmune diseases. It will be wider. It will be also about just for example how to have healthy digestion, how to prevent getting those chronic diseases, because autoimmune diseases are chronic and you can prevent them partly by leading a healthy life, aligned with your body's and mind's needs. So this will be one part of it. It will be also about managing stress. So there will be different topics which I think will cater to more people, And then one more thing which I'm planning is like really going more into the online part of like coaching people, because we are coaching online and we are also having this clinic. So I'm focusing more on online now because I feel this is such a movement. And what I'm doing, like not basically like creating things for people, but like what I'm doing inside of my company is really trying to use AI as much as I can, because this is such a huge thing to do right now. Like really, folks, if you have business and you're not using AI, just start, because I think that companies which will not use AI will go bankrupt in a few years.
Well, either you're part of it or you're behind it.
Exactly. Like I think you got to be part of it. Like it's a huge thing to do. I'm actually in a course right now and I'm learning how to use it very, very eloquently and effectively. And I say it's a game changer, really. That's game changer. Like if I had this at the beginning of my solopreneur years, I would be somewhere else. Because you can use it for everything, marketing, legal stuff, it can be like your personal assistant. You can use it for creating content. You can use it for creating products. You can use it for helping you with your business strategies. You can use it as your advisor, for example, in some specific sub niche in your business, like really, really great thing, really great thing. But you gotta know how to use it smartly. It's not just about opening ChatGPT and writing, how do I do marketing for my brand? It's not like that.
Disclaimer, this is not legal or financial advice.
Yeah.
This is educational content.
Yeah. It's basically infotainment.
Okay. Well, in your previous podcast, you also mentioned that you're working on a book.
Yeah.
That's something that you've been working on for 3 years, right?
I think it's been maybe 4 now. Yeah, like it's been quite a long time, because I don't know, the book is such a big deal for me. Of course, like it's me who's making a lot of fuss about it in my mind, but really I take it like, the stuff which you put online, you can like delete it, but like when you like print a book, it's really something which is gonna stick for some time. So I'm like really very slow, very focused on it, very mindful about every word I write there, which makes it super hard to publish it. But it's gonna happen this year, and I'm really finally. I believe that no more.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I believe that no more miscarriages will happen, so the book will come, because basically the miscarriage was the one thing which like shook me so much that I didn't finish the book, even though it was in the plan for the year. That's also the funny thing about having your own business. You make plans and then something happens and like the plan just like it's different.
You have to be reactive, right?
Yeah, you got to be flexible, definitely. But that's a nice thing about being entrepreneur. You really do things which you didn't expect to do, and that's the fun thing about it. Sometimes not.
Okay.
So book it is.
In your previous podcast.
Again.
Again.
Yeah, Martin has been a key listener.
I've done my research, okay?
Yeah, he's great at this. I really admire the time and effort you've put into this. Thank you.
Thank you. what? Oh, sorry. So you mentioned that having 13 projects.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
quite like my roadmap, but
yeah.
I understand that in the beginning, when I was really developing the whole
You
project
didn't.
of Lucky.
You didn't hear my question.
Sorry, you didn't even finish my talk. No, like I feel that it was really ambitious, so those projects will probably maybe take a lifetime to
Yeah.
accomplish.
Okay. All right. So my question is,
Sorry.
so you mentioned that you have 13 projects on your roadmap,
Yeah,
and you're quite ambitious, right?
yeah.
And I've heard stories where content creators. So this is just an example, right? So
Mhm.
when content creators lose their passion because they move from being a content creator to a business owner. So in
Yeah,
your case, for example, you would you could potentially be moving from a coach to a business owner,
yeah.
which
Stop
you already
coaching.
are, right? Do you see that challenge with yourself, or do you still wanna do coaching to a certain extent?
I can still coach, but it's getting harder and harder. So
Yeah,
I really think that for me, the focus for the future will be to really create this content for masses, like for example, online courses. This is actually the reason
yeah,
why I'm starting my academy, which will be online, because
yeah,
I can put so much time in there and it will just stay there and go to a lot of people
yeah,
instead of just coaching one on
yeah.
one, even though I really enjoy this probably the
Mhm.
most.
But
Uh,
that's still making you a coach,
yeah,
actually. So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
a
yeah,
good thing.
yeah. Actually, like
Yeah.
I'm not planning on stopping coaching anytime soon, but
Mm.
this might eventually come. Some business mentors already told me that it would be good to start planning it,
Yeah.
but I don't see it happening anytime soon
Yeah.
because it's the one thing which keeps me in the process. I feel the needs of the people. It's the one thing which makes me probably the happiest in my
Mm.
work. And I think it's really important to do also the things which makes you fully charged.
Yeah.
So I'm not planning on stopping them,
Yeah.
but definitely the time is shrinking, so that probably makes your price go higher or like
Yeah.
limit your booking slots.
Yeah.
And I think that I understand those people who feel burnt out after leaving the thing which they were passionate about in the beginning and why they started and just becoming business owners, because that's totally different
It's a
thing.
different role.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that when you're a creative person like I am, and you probably as well,
Maybe.
I think you are. Yeah, yeah. I can feel it. I think it's really important to really like find a person who will be your right hand, and this person is like the goal oriented task person who is not necessarily as creative and bright, shiny, talking to public, individual like you are. But it's a person who will really get the shit done. Sorry for the word. It's like a really person who will like help you with this stuff.
Yeah.
So I would encourage everyone who wants to run business like that to find a project manager, or I
Yeah.
don't know, like a assistant, executive assistant, like someone who will really help you with this. I have this those people in my team, and it's been tremendous help. So I
Okay.
definitely would encourage everyone who is creative to find a more down to earth do
Yeah.
person, like the go getter, to have that.
Mm. Yeah. I'm pretty interested to see what your journey will be in, let's say, 5 years.
Yeah, like I'm also like really like I don't know. Right now I don't even want to think what will be in 5 years,
Mm.
because last year shook me so hard that
Yeah.
I'm like not making any big plans right now. I'm just like being step by step, like,
Yeah.
hey, this is what I would like to accomplish this year.
Mm.
This is the biggest priority. This is the lowest priority. Like I'm
Yeah.
strategizing, but like I'm not pushing myself as much as I did in the beginning, because I was really like, we got to do it all and we got to do it now.
Yeah.
Like yesterday was too late, and that's not a good mindset. Like
Yeah.
one thing which my business journey taught me is that you should do it rather slower, but like really in the way which is conscious and not hurting you, not really draining you, not really burning you out.
Yeah.
And it's a way which is like, I would say, long term, like you can do it, it's sustainable. That should be the way you should build things,
Yeah.
how you should build things. But I did it like the way, like, let's do it all now, and that wasn't as good.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be a
Okay.
little bit more mindful. Also, what I think will be a big game changer is like me moving forward with my, more feminine side of my life, because the business side, I think it's more like the masculine, but the
What?
feminine
Why?
side,
Why do you say that?
because you gotta have some traits to, I think, become successful in business as a woman. You gotta be a little bit like men sometimes. You gotta think more like strategic, down to earth. Your emotions should be really put in place, and like then, you know in your personal life, you're probably like more feminine. It doesn't mean that I'm like,
Hmm.
masculine, like, hello, I'm
Yeah.
your coach. No, but like, especially in the directive side of things, on the executive level,
Yeah.
you gotta be more masculine. Like, you
Do
gotta
you
have
reckon
to.
you are different at work and different at home?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Like at home, I have a very, I have a partner who is like, who really likes to lead, and who
Okay.
really likes to be, the one who has things in charge. And
Okay.
for me, that's great, because I'm the one who has things in charge in work,
Yeah.
at work. So for me, that's great, because
Okay.
at home, I can like relax more and like
Yeah.
be led. And when we talk about feminine masculine principle, this is the more natural way. Like, the man is usually more of the leading type, and the woman is the more, creative,
Yeah.
intuitive, building the feeling of home, then, for example, having children. But like, women are not naturally the, strong leaders like men are. Like, today, like nowadays, we are much more, because society is built that way, and we women, we are empowered. We are, some of them, some of us are feminists. Like, we
Hmm.
want to build things, we want to be successful, we want to have careers, we want to have
Yeah.
companies. But it's not necessarily the natural way of operating for a woman, which doesn't mean that I'm saying that women are bad at business, or that women shouldn't do business. So please don't cut this out, okay? Don't skip this part.
I will not. I will not.
Yeah, don't edit it out. Because then the haters will come like, hey, she's saying women shouldn't be in business. No, they should. But also, it depends like how you want to build your business. It's
Yeah.
different when you want to have like a small business, like a small business owner, and it's different when you like really want to, I don't know, run Forbes, 500 companies are the best. If you want to be like this, that's the like, it depends like really on where on the scale you want to be. For me, it's that I just want to keep fulfilling my mission,
Hmm.
which is to help people thrive,
Yeah.
both mentally and physically.
Hmm.
I will still be specialized in autoimmune folks, but I will probably specialize also more in my work on longevity and health span,
Yeah.
because I'm starting something which I cannot talk yet, but I'm starting something in this industry. And I will also see how it will be when I will become a mother, because I cannot see myself being like this and having a small baby, like,
Yeah. Fair enough.
it will be definitely a big challenge, big game shift. So I think that this will make a big difference depending on when it will come, because
Yeah.
I can become mother. I could have become mother last year, so like
Yeah.
that's one thing. So I can become mother, like, I don't know, in 1 year time. I can become mother in 5 year time.
Yeah.
So this will be a big change, like what I will accomplish before I become a mother,
Yeah.
and how I will handle things then. I think at the time,
Okay.
a lot of it will need to be automated. I will need to have really people who will lead it for me.
I will
It will be
apply
different.
for the role CEO back when that happens.
Amazing, because I'm already starting to look for one, like headhunting slowly. So I'm writing you.
Zatím ano.
You can.
Děkujeme.
I'm writing you on the list in my brain.
Sounds good. Sounds
Perfect,
good.
perfect.
So, given that you emphasize on the importance of holistic health, how do you manage your personal life and your professional life? Do you believe in healthy life balance?
Definitely, but work-life balance can be bullshit if you think it needs to be like 50-50 or something. Like, everyone has a different. Someone can work, for example, 8 hours every day of the week, and the rest of the time is for family, for
Hmm.
himself or herself, and be happy and thriving.
Yeah.
For me, that wouldn't work. Like, I couldn't work 8 hours every day. I had the time, the period, especially in the beginning of starting Lucky AIP, when I was working really, really hard, like super hard, like maybe, I don't know, 12, 14 hours, multiple times per week, sometimes working also at the weekends, like really just being like goal oriented and going at it. But of course, that wasn't sustainable for a long time. And now for me, the balance looks like I have basically mm, very strict regime when it comes to sleep, when it comes to diet,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to exercise.
Yeah.
I have a partner who is really strict in this as well. So this helps me because he doesn't let me work until 8 or 9 p.m. He doesn't let me not go to bed after 8 or 9 p.m. He doesn't let me work after the time, and he doesn't let me go to bed later than 10 p.m. because
Yeah.
we have like this strict regime. Hey, 10 p.m. is our bedtime. 6:40 we're getting up. We have our morning routine
Yeah.
of movement and hydration and supplements, breakfast, everything.
Yeah.
So it's really helpful when you have a person who is also very aware of how important the health is and really just like doing the same thing with you. I couldn't imagine having, for example, a person who is not an entrepreneur as well and who is not biohacker as well as my
Mm.
partner. So it's really important to have the closest folks on the same wavelength as you are and just like be flexible and changing it as your life evolves because the way I worked 5 years ago is different from the way I work right now. I work less, but I work, I would say, more efficiently. I'm much more disciplined. I'm much more goal oriented. I think I'm better
Yeah.
because I got better in managing my priorities.
Mm-hmm.
I use Eisenhower matrix for that.
Yeah.
So I think that I really got better in that, and that makes me uh, better and like more effective, and then I can work less and the rest of the time I can spend with my partner, with my stepson, with my family, or just taking care of myself, which is pretty important, so don't forget about it.
Wow. Well, thank you very much for your answer. Yeah.
I
I
hope
think
it inspires you.
final question
Thank you.
for everyone who would like to, live a healthy or more purposeful life. What's the one advice you would like to give them?
Wow, that's really hard because there's so much of it, and the deeper you go into functional health, functional medicine, holistic well-being,
What's the
the more
starting
you
step?
find.
What's the starting step then?
So I think the starting step would really to make some kind of inner analysis of your life and figuring out in what aspects you are happy and satisfied, in what aspects you are not, because sometimes we are, for example, unhappy at our job, but we don't give attention to it because
Mm-hmm.
we don't pay attention to it because we are focused on, hey, I have stable income, the work is not so bad, the colleagues are okay,
Yeah.
it gives me some for example, bonuses, or I don't know, some nice money, and I'm
Yeah.
like, just staying at the job. But is it really satisfying? Is it really making you feel fulfilled? Do you really, you know, enjoy it? Do you really interact with your diamond, with your best self when you're in your job? This is really important to thrive and to live a long, healthy life. I think you got to be satisfied in all those different aspects. First and foremost, the relationship with yourself, which was pretty much doomed for me for a long time, and that really mirrored into my health, into my relationships, into
Yeah.
everything. And then of course in your partnership, in your family, which also was a big part of me, to on my health journey, to really tackle that, in your work, in everything, you really got to be just like mindful of what you do and how do you feel with different people in different aspects of your life. I think that's the start. Then you pinpoint those problematic parts and you say like, hey, for example, nutrition is not the best because I'm busy and I skip meals, and when I don't skip meals I buy some random thing from supermarket or restaurant and it's not like super healthy always. So how can I tackle that? And then you
Yeah.
start, and then you just go step by step. Don't
Yeah.
try to change everything, just really focus on one part, and when you feel this one is settled, then go to the next.
Okay. So the key advice, if I read it correctly, is to reflect and analyze your life and see
Exactly.
what needs to change.
Exactly, because chances are there are quite a few parts of your life which you are not really well balanced in, and you don't even notice
Yeah.
because you're so busy in your mind with social media, what's happening in
Mm.
the world, with what's happening in your job, and then you don't even pay attention. So start paying attention to yourself, folks.
Oh wow. Well, we'll have to wrap it up here, but thank you
Yeah.
very much for your time,
Thank you as
Lucia.
well.
Thank you for joining this very brand new podcast. And yeah, I've learned so much today, and thank you for sharing your journey.
Thank you very much. I'm really honored to be here and to be the first person on the podcast, if I understand it correctly.
Maybe second.
Okay, but still feels great. Second is also good. You don't
top
all,
top three, top three.
yeah, you don't always have to be first, folks. So I'm really glad. I'm really wishing you the best on your journey. I
Thank
think
you, thank you.
the journey of creation of whatever this will become is so fulfilling and inspiring and sometimes hard, but it's okay. So I think this will be really growth journey for you, and I wish you just all the best. And I would really be happy to see how you grow, how you keep growing, and then maybe we can do one more podcast after 1 year or a few years and like really see how we've grown again.
Yeah, thank you very much for the kind words. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for everyone who was listening. And if you would like help with your health, just contact me, connect with me, because as you can see, I can also speak English.
Yeah,
So
important question. Do you take clients who don't speak Czech?
yeah, definitely. Like, even though Czech is my native language, I speak fluent English and I've studied in English. So if you would like to have help with your health regarding, I don't know, autoimmune conditions, or you have some other problems, some chronic diseases, I don't know, we have hormonal problems if you're a woman, or anything else basically, like you just don't feel like really healthy, you can contact me and we can really try to figure out a way how to help you. And I will be glad. You can follow me on Lucky AIP on social media.
I'll tag you. Don't worry.
So thank you very much, and you can just start the journey here.
Awesome. All right. See ya. See ya.
See you. Bye.